Welcome to the Savior. Today is the 15th June, and last year, on this day, Ladakh's Galwan Valley witnessed a violent clash between armies of India and China. The clash, in which 20 Indian soldiers were killed, was one of the worst in 45 years and led to a military standoff with China and at least 11 rounds of military talks for the disengagement process. We'll talk about all the issues and events which happened a year back. What happened on 15 June 2020? Tension had been high at the line of actual control weeks before the clash, with both sides deploying an increased number of soldiers at the border. India contended that China had moved into the Indian side of the LAC. Talks held between the local military commanders of both the armies on June 6 led to a mutually agreed disengagement process. A buffer zone was to be created between the two armies. However, an Indian commander noticed a Chinese camp in the area and went to inspect. This escalated into a fight, resulting in death and injuries. While no shots were fired, a year-end review by the Defense Ministry stated that China used unorthodox weapons at Galwan. In February 2021, China acknowledged for the first time that 5 Chinese military officers and soldiers were killed in the eastern Ladakh clash. A series of military talks ended in a stalemate. A meeting at the level of Major General of both armies took place at the patrolling point 14. Following the clash, which brought the situation under control, 10 Indian Army personnel captured by the Chinese were returned on June 17 after talks at the diplomatic and military level. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also addressed the nation, stating, "India wants peace. But on provocation, India will give a befitting reply." A meeting between commanders of the Indian and Chinese army ended with mutual consensus to disengage. On June 16, however, no plan was drawn up and a series of meetings and diplomatic talks resulted in a stalemate. Army is preparing for the long haul and standoff is expected to continue well into the winter. Sources in the army said after a meeting between 10th Corps Commander Lieutenant General Harinder Singh and South Xinjiang Military Region Commander Major General Liu Lin, India sought a restoration of status quo ante of troops returning to location before the face-off began in May. Whereas Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian in a series of tweets 5 days after the clash claimed that Galwan Valley is located on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in the west section of China-India boundary. For many years, the China border troops have been patrolling and on duty in this region. The series of meetings continued till end of 2020, with an escalation in September when Chinese PLA claimed that Indian troops had fired warning shots, prompting it to take countermeasures to stabilize the situation on the ground in Pangong Tso, one of the most contentious sectors in Ladakh. Now, what is the breakthrough and disengagement? The first major breakthrough in talks to resolve the 9-month military standoff was only reached in February 2021. China's Defense Ministry announced that China and Indian troops on the southern and northern shores of Pangong Tso began synchronized and organized disengagement. The agreement was in line with the consensus reached between commanders when they last met on January 24 during the 9th round of military talks. Senior Colonel Wu Qian, spokesperson for the Chinese Military of National Defense, in a written statement said the Chinese and Indian frontline troops at the southern and northern bank of the Pangong Tso Lake start synchronized and organized disengagement from February 10. Now the video of Galwan Valley clash cannot be imagined without talking about all the martyrs who sacrificed their lives. The name of 20 Indian Army personnel who were killed in Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh while bravely fighting against Chinese troops in June last year were inscribed on the National War Memorial in New Delhi ahead of the Republic Day. Colonel B. Santosh Babu, who was the commanding officer of the 16th Bihar Regiment, was among the 20 Indian soldiers who were killed in the fierce hand-to-hand combat with Chinese soldiers on June 15, an incident that marked one of the most serious military conflicts between the two countries in the decades. China is yet to disclose the number of its soldiers killed and injured in the clash, though it officially admitted to having suffered casualties. According to an American intelligence report, the number of casualties on the Chinese side was 35. Galwan Valley clash had escalated the border row in eastern Ladakh and resulted in a large deployment of troops. Heavy weaponry by both the armies at the friction point. The names of the Galwan heroes have been inscribed at the National War Memorial. Some of these soldiers are also likely to be honored with Gallantry Award on the Republic Day. Chinese soldiers used stones, nail-stud sticks, iron rods, and clubs in carrying out brutal attack on Indian soldiers after they protested the erection of a surveillance post by China around patrolling point 14 in Galwan Valley. The Indian Army has already built a memorial for the gallants of Galwan at post 120 in eastern Ladakh.